Hello and welcome. And today I am joined by Zena Hall, and I've got to let Zena introduce herself. And hello to anybody who's listening. And so Zena and I met as a result of our qualifications as positive psychology coaches with the wonderful Andy Ramage and the Arte Way coaching. So Zena, welcome.
Hi, Deirdre. Thank you for inviting me to join you today.
Thank you for coming. So how about you tell us a little bit about you?
A little bit about me. So I'm Zena, and you can find me on Instagram as Zena's Coaching. Not difficult to find because of my unique name. Tell you a bit about myself. Well, it's quite an interesting story. It depends how far we go back, but I'll go back to 2018, 2019, when I started a development program, which sort of led me to a lot of discovery about myself and introduced me to the wonderful world of coaching by an amazing inspirational lady called Pam, who ran the self-development course that I did. And that was my introduction to sort of lighting up the flame of intrigue and refinding myself. I think as a mother, somebody getting slightly older, teenage girls in the middle of their craziness, I think I'd lost myself slightly. And I think so many of us do lose ourselves, and we're mothers or we're busy with our careers. People get lost in who they are and their direction. And it reignited who I was, and I started to remember all those things that we've started. And then I went a little bit further. Once I'd sort of regained my confidence after I'd done that self-development work in sort of 2018, 2019, beginning of 2020, I built up my confidence and my resilience enough to go start myself on a weight loss journey. And as a result, I managed to lose around 5 stone. So it wasn't in 1 year, it took a little bit longer. But over COVID and all of that craziness, when we suddenly found ourselves all at home doing our own thing, I found focus. I found that I wasn't having to rush off left, right and centre with the girls and everything else with work. So I was able to focus on myself and build up some really lovely habits during my weight loss journey. And then the following year, as a result of that, I'd started really exercising. And so in 2021, I ran my first 5K, proved that actually I could run. I didn't need long legs because I'm only 5 foot. So you don't need long legs to run, apparently. But I'd convinced myself the best part of 50 years that I actually did need long legs and I couldn't run. So that was 2021. 2022, I did try January to see what would happen if I stopped drinking to my fitness. And I was amazed that my menopausal symptoms or my perimenopausal symptoms were significantly improved. My fitness improved. In fact, everything about my life improved. So after dry January, I decided that I wouldn't go back. And then in 2023, I started my coaching training, and this is where I find myself at the end of 2023, the beginning of 2024, having been on somewhat of a crazy journey and rediscovered who I am and reconnected to the person that I wanted to be or always meant to be. So that's
like
that's
there was
me.
Something every year, really, achievements personally, not just, I guess, physically, but also emotionally throughout that journey. And so I know when we've been speaking before, you would now describe yourself as an athlete.
Absolutely, yes, something that I would have laughed about, I think, a few years ago. When I was young, I danced. So from the age of about 3, I danced. I did ballet and Greek dance, but not Greek dance in the sense of Greek dancing, smashing plates, Greek dancing in the form of the, as in the Greek mythology.
Oh,
So which was amazing. So I danced, and I danced on the stage, and I was always active. We were always out doing something. I lived on a farm, so we were always outside. It was a active life, and I think I lost sight of all of those things that I really loved doing. And over the years, I've danced. I've all done sorts of things, but when I started really looking at fitness and what I wanted to do and what I was doing. So I dance, I run, I go to the gym, I do weights. I don't just concentrate on one thing. A great friend of mine said last year, beginning of 2023, I said, "Oh, I'm not really a runner. I do run, but I wouldn't call myself a runner." And their comment was, "Well, if you run, you are a runner." And it's like, well, yes, absolutely. If you keep fit and you're active, you are an athlete. You are looking after your body. You are taking care of yourself. So yes, I refer to myself as an athlete because I do anything. I've even jumped off a very, very big zip wire. So
goodness me. And so then you felt from 2018, you've began this personal development journey. You've achieved so much in terms of all of the, not just physical, as I say, but mental health improvement, emotional health improvement.
yeah,
And then you've undertaken now the positive psychology diploma and Zena Hall coaching. Is that the business that?
yeah, Zena's coaching. So
Zena's coaching.
yeah. And so I'm coaching, doing one-to-one coaching, predominantly with people who are just feeling stuck, maybe feeling undervalued, lost their way somewhat. I have been doing some alcohol-free coaching because I've got a certification in helping people change their relationship with alcohol, however they want to do that. I'm also very interested in sort of walking alongside people and helping them change their mindset. So the positive psychology I've found absolutely fascinating. Yeah. I have far too many books on my bookshelf. You, Deirdre, you would absolutely agree, I'm sure. Just that reframing of things, that I can't. Can you really? Seriously challenging your thinking on I can't. Can you change that into something else? And I think once you've unlocked that sort of looking at things in a different way, looking at how you can change something that's fundamentally negative in your mind and just challenging that thinking, looking at it, pulling it apart, trying to see the bigger picture, trying to see it from a different angle, different lens, however you want to say it. Yeah. It's that understanding. And I think one of the biggest things over the last few years is the more we learn, the more we're open to learning, and the more we're open to learning, the more we learn. So it's sort of you almost like a big snowball effect. And you just gather all of this information. You can't unlearn things, and you just carry on just picking up more and more information. Sorry, going off on a tangent.
No, not at all. I do think that, so for anybody who's listening, rather than looking at us, the poster behind you, I think it says you can if you think you can, which is exactly how what you're saying, or my understanding is that that's what you've embraced yourself, and also you're now helping others to discover that.
Absolutely. A brilliant example from the last few years is my husband is a motorcyclist, and he rides for blood bikes, and he's got an advanced driving license. And for the past 15 years, he's been saying, please come on the back with me. Like, we can go on adventures, we can, we can go on holiday together, we can go and have fun. And I have said for the past 14 and a half years now, no, I don't like motorbikes, with absolutely no evidence apart from the fact that actually in my head, I didn't like them. They were scary, they were dangerous, and why on earth would I get on the back of them? And so last January, while working with Andy on one of his self-development programs, we were talking about limiting beliefs and where they come from and how we understand them, and these stories we build up and we tell ourselves and we tell everybody else. We're quite happy to tell the world, no, I don't like motorbikes, I don't like this, that, and the other. And my husband said to me again sometime in the spring, he said, please, will you come on the back of the bike? Just, got all the gear, same size as Bronwyn, our eldest daughter, just come down the road. And I went, no, absolutely not. It's frightening. I don't want to do it. And then on self-reflection, I challenged myself and thought, okay, so what evidence have I actually got that I don't like motorbikes? And I couldn't find any. They wobble a bit when you sit on the back of them at the motorbike show every year, and that, I assumed, is what happens when you get on the back. So I committed at the end of January last year that on a nice sunny day, I would get all dressed up and I would go on the back of my husband's motorbike. And if anybody does follow me on Instagram, they'd have seen the post after the event. There's a picture of me all dressed up, head to toe. Can't tell it's me, but it is. Getting on the back of my husband's motorbike with sheer terror in my heart, on the verge of tears, and I can feel my emotions now just thinking about it. Because for 15 years to tell yourself something but have no evidence that you are going to be frightened. And we went out, and even half an hour before getting on the back of the bike, I was coming up with all sorts of excuses as to why I shouldn't be doing it. And then eventually I just said, right, okay, if we're doing it, let's just go and do it. So we did, got all dressed up, and I got on the back of the bike, and the girls waved me off outside, and off I went on the back of the bike. And 2.5 hours later, I can hand on heart say that it was an incredible experience, and it wasn't frightening. And I don't hate motorbikes, and I'm not frightened of them. But did I cry for 2.5 hours? Most of the time.
Yeah.
But not through fear. The first 5 or 10 minutes was fear. But the rest of the time, the overall emotion, and I can feel it again, was the realization that whatever we tell ourselves is our reality. It's what we live in. It doesn't matter what it is. If we say that we're a miserable person or that we're unhappy, we live that. We live what we say. And that day, that Sunday that we sat on the beach and had ice cream together after a motorcycle ride, which is what my husband had wanted for years, I realized that there is nothing in this world that as human beings we can't do, as long as we believe that we can. And although that sounds a little bit bonkers, it's true. Whatever you tell yourself, whatever you believe, is the reality of what you live. We can't change some things, but we can change our beliefs. We can change what we're able to do in some circumstances. And so, yes, not everybody has to get on the back of a motorbike to realise that.
But you're glad you did.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So what's coming up for 2024? Even feels a bit strange to say it.
It does say it's 2024. I can't believe we're actually going into 2024. No. It's quite incredible. 2023 has been such a massive year. And if I may talk about 2023 a little bit more before
of course,
we talk about 2024, Deirdre.
Yes.
2023 has been a really difficult year for me. Personally, we've had some real tragedy in the year, and some real sadness, but it has been an incredible year, and I'm truly grateful for everything I've done over the last 3 or 4 years that have allowed me and have made it possible for my 2023 to be positive. We lost my father-in-law at the beginning of the year, a very dear friend of ours. We lost in the middle of the year, same age as myself. And recently, my twin sister's been diagnosed with breast cancer, and so she's going through therapy now. But through all of the things that I've done over the last few years, my resilience is so high. So looking after yourself physically through eating a nutritious diet, through exercising, knowing what nourishes you, what really helps you as an individual, getting outside into nature, connecting with the right people, finding what it is, your meaning and purpose in life, all of those things that I've learned and have embraced over the last few years have made it possible that although there's been difficult times, knowing that everything can be okay and that everything will pass in time and that things will get better has allowed me to have an amazing 2023, although there's been some really tough times. So that leads me into what's going to happen in 2024 and what I'm going to do. So 2024 will see me carry on doing what I'm doing, my coaching, building up my business, pouring all of my energy into that. Doesn't really feel like energy in a work scenario, because I love it. I absolutely love it. It brings me such joy, and you'll know that yourself, won't you? It's just,
when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work, I guess. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I carry on with my full-time job as well, and all the other things that I do. But in January, I've made somewhat of a commitment to show up for anybody who wants to be there every day in January in one way or another, to help them start or help them on their journey. And that's not a journey of doing everything at once. It's if people want to have a look at their nutritional diet, if they want to start embracing that inner athlete that's hiding away, those people who are interested in looking at their sort of their way that they're looking at the world. Somebody who wants to just become unstuck, I think, is probably the best way of describing it. So I have committed that in January I'll show up every day and share a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of what I'm doing, so that people can see that you can make change. It is sustainable over a long period of time. How you build habits and all of those things. So that's basically what I'm doing in 2024. That's what I'm starting to do in 2024 at the beginning of the year anyway.
Which is amazing. And who better to support? We do say that people that we work with, or ideal clients, if you like, are often us 5 years ago, for example. And with all that you have been through in 2023 and before it, I'm sure the growth mindset that you've shown and the way that you've challenged those unhelpful beliefs are invaluable to somebody who is looking to challenge the I can't, or I'm not able, or I'm not good enough, whatever those beliefs are. It's a gift that you have to pass to others.
My hope is that I can help a couple of people. If I help a couple of people, if I help one person change something and be able to make a sustainable change, that would be enough for me in January. But it's not it's not always about, I think people get so caught up in, I'll say the right word, I usually use the word revolution, but it's not revolution, it's resolution. You know, everyone talks about wanting to make, you know, oh, January, I'm going to go to the gym. I mean, if I go to the gym on the 2nd of January, which I probably will, it'll be full. It'll be absolutely crazy. And there'll be lots of people who are intent on, yes, I'm going to get fit in 2024, or I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But if you don't have some support, if you don't have some tools and some ability to build on some foundation and somebody there to cheer you on, it can be really, really hard. It can be really tough. Yeah. I mean, I cook. One of my loves is cooking. Always have. And so I'm predominantly vegetarian, but I'm not vegetarian. I eat some chicken and some fish, but I eat a lot of vegetables. I have a very healthy diet. So in January, I want to share a few of those really easy, really simple recipes that use vegetables, that showcase vegetables instead of having to eat, you know, the meat and 3 veg. But I make the choices in our house as to what we eat. Some people don't have that luxury. Some people aren't the cook in the house. Yeah. So I'm hoping that if I share a few recipes that are quite simple, that people can, you know, maybe start to have a look at sort of, okay, I'll have a go at that, you know, and so there's sort of different elements that I'd like to bring in. As I say, I nothing happens overnight. You can't lose 5 stone and keep it off overnight. You have to build sustainable, what's the word, habits, and you have to make lifelong changes. But you don't have to decide that on January the 1st. You need to build on it. You need to put a brick down and put the next brick down, find the first step, the second step, and just keep building on it. So I don't expect people to dip into all of January. If I'm sharing about fitness and fitness isn't your thing, focus on the thing that is. That's, you know, there will be bits for different people. And I've also got some guests who are going to join me on some lives, and hopefully I can figure out how to do lives on Instagram. And I'm sure it'll work out. And if it doesn't, we'll try again another day. But my hope is that those people will join me, and they'll be able to share some tips and tricks that they use, some of the things that they've got in their toolkit that have helped them do some of the amazing things that they've done. One of my guests is a runner, running coach, and he runs programs for people wanting to do 5Ks or 10Ks. Another friend is predominantly an alcohol-free coach, so she will be talking about that. And different people. I've got somebody else who's very spiritual, so we'll chat. Yeah, so there'll be a little bit for everybody, I think. And I'll put out at some point what dates I've got different people coming on to join me.
And you've shared a lot of information for how we might look to make changes either in January or going forward, consistent changes. Yeah. Are there any other tips, if you like, that have helped you most?
I think I'm quite an organized person. Mm-hmm. So if I'm doing anything, I tend to plan it. So I have, so one of my favorite things to do on a sort of Thursday, Friday evening is plan what we're eating the following week. And I've got a chalkboard in the kitchen, and basically it has the week's menu on it. That's sort of, we don't always stick to it. There's occasions when we don't, if life gets in the way. But basically, everything. That keeps me on track. That keeps me focused on what we're having. I don't have to make a decision on what we're having each night. It takes that stress away. So that would be something I would say is one good tip. I journal on a daily basis. That keeps my positivity and my gratitude, and also keeps me sort of focused on what I'm going to do each day. So it's a 6-minute diary, and it takes a few minutes in the morning, a few minutes in the evening, but I love it. It's you look at 3 things that you're grateful for, or if you don't want to look at 3 things that you're grateful for in the morning, maybe it's just one thing. Maybe it's just that you've woken up and that you've had a really good night's sleep. It shouldn't be onerous. Nothing like that should be onerous. It should fit in with who you are. So yeah, I do different things.
Your own practices.
Yeah,
that's great. And you're sharing throughout January different interviews, and you're doing something different every day, where is the best place? Is that Instagram, did you say, to follow along?
Yeah, so Instagram is the main platform that I'll use in January. Okay. I'm hoping that I will be able to share that through Facebook if I can work that out. If people aren't on Instagram, but people can also find me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I'm not difficult to find because of my name, so it's Zena, not with an X, definitely with Z.
Zena Coaching.
Zena's Coaching. Yeah.
Zena's Coaching.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing your wonderful journey with us, and thank you for all that you do. It's been really, really lovely to have you joining me today. So thank you, Zena.
Oh, it's lovely, Deirdre. Thank you very much for inviting me. You take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.